HOA ordered Meadow. Unlock my gate. I closed it forever after buying the road. They all drive on in the quiet town of Willow Creek, where rules seem to be written in stone and controlled by the iron hand of the Homeowners Association. I thought I could live in peace. My property sat at the very edge of the neighborhood, 5 acres of land that had been in my family for decades. Long before the HOA even existed, this land had belonged to my grandfather. He used it to raise cattle, plant fruit trees, and build a small home for his growing family. Years later, it came down to me, and with it came the pride of continuing a family legacy. But when the HOA expanded, they didn't just stop at the houses and streets they managed. They extended their so-called authority over properties that weren't even intended to fit their perfect cookie-cutter vision. And unfortunately for me, my driveway connected to the only road that led into the neighborhood. For years, it wasn't a problem. People passed by, waved, sometimes stopped to chat. Then the HOA got a new president, Karen Whitmore. Karen was the type of person who believed control was power, and she thrived on making other people's lives miserable. If your grass grew at too long, she would fine you. If your trash bins weren't pulled in within an hour after pickup, you'd get a notice. If your car wasn't aesthetically pleasing, she demanded it be moved. And when she set her eyes on my gate, I knew my peaceful days were numbered. My property had a tall black iron gate at the entrance of my driveway. It wasn't just for looks, it was for security. Living on open land meant wild animals, trespassers, and the occasionally reckless teenager looking for trouble. That gate gave me peace of mind. But one morning, I received a letter taped right to it, sealed with the HOA's logo. Notice of violation, it read. Your gate must remain unlocked at all times to allow free passage through the neighborhood road. I laughed at first. Free passage? This was my gate, on my driveway, connected to my land. The road they were referring to wasn't their stall. It was an old access road that predated the HOA my family had maintained it years. The HOA never paved it, never cleared snow, never cut the weeds. But now that it was convenient, they wanted control, he ignored the letter. But Karen wasn't oneg to be ignored. Within days, she came knocking on my door. Mr. Miller, she said, your locked gate is violation of OA regular tie-ins. You're obstructing community access. I crossed my arms and raised an eyebrow. Community access? That's my private road, my gate, my property, Karen smirked. Technically, everyone uses it to get to their homes. That makes it community property. Unlock the gate, or the board will fine you. It laughed in her face. Good luck with that. Then shut the door. That was the beginning of war. Within a week, he was buried in violation notices. $100 for obstructing a roadway, $200 for endangering residents, $500 for failure to comply. They even threatened a possible lien. But what Karen didn't know, he was a liar. A new property law inside out. The HO had zero authority over the gate. Every letter sent me went straight into a bin record. Karen's comedy collection. Still, the harassment was relentless. Board members showed up to my gate. Neighbors complained, and some called me a troublemaker. But while I respected neighbors, he could not let Karen bully me. One night, after digging through old records, he stumbled in something powerful. The road, every inch of it, was legally on my land. My grandfather had only allocated for permissive use. It was never formally transferred. That meant had the right to sell, restrict, or even close it. The next morning, I called a county office, spoke to a document specialist, and finalized the papers. Within weeks, the ownership of the road was legally mine. No question, no dispute, and I held the title. He bought rights outright. The road wasn't just mine in practice. It was mine in paper. I waited for Karen's expression when she talked home. She looked like ghost. You can't do that, she yelled. Oh, but he did, I replied. The HOA called it an emergency meeting. They begged, threatened, even offered money for transfer. He refused. I decided to end this once and for all. That weekend, installed a massive metal gate at the entrance of the road, equipped with cameras, keypads, and locks. The only person with a code was the owner. Me. Monday morning, chaos. People honked, screamed, and demanded access. Karen ran towards the gate. "This is illegal," she shrieked. "You can clock us out." I sipped some coffee. Actually, I did. The neighbors blamed her, the woman who pushed me to this point. Her plan backfired. The hoe filed for court, claiming easement rights, but it showed decades of land deeds, legal maps, and proved beyond a doubt. He walked out of the courtroom victorious. Judge ruled, "Mr. Miller is the legal owner. The HOA has no authority. Case dismissed." From that day on, the gate stayed locked. I placed a big sign, "Private road, trespassers will be prosecuted." Later, I even offered access via mall, monthly toll, some paid, others grumbled, but the law weighs in my side. Eventually, the hoe voted Karen down, her reputation ruined. She left the community. While I enjoyed morning's coffee, watching cars stop at my gate, he couldn't help but smile. They had ordered me to unlock my gate, but he closed it forever, right across the road they drive daily. In Willow Creek, the hoe once claimed power. Now I hold the keys.